You checked your savings account last night, not because you needed to transfer anything, not because you were expecting a deposit. You just checked. The number was fine, maybe even a little higher than last month. You felt okay for a second, maybe even a little proud. You've been trying. You've been careful. Then you close the app, and that feeling, it disappeared. Because somewhere in the back of your mind, you already knew that savings account, the one you've been building for months, maybe years, wouldn't cover 3 months of expenses, maybe not even 2. And if something happened tomorrow, if the car broke down, if you lost your job, if someone got sick, you'd be back to square one, or worse. So you closed the app, and you didn't think about it again. Not because you don't care, but because thinking about it makes you feel small, like you're doing everything right and still losing some invisible game. Here's what's strange. That same night, you probably didn't check your credit card balance, or your car loan, or think about the mortgage payment coming out next week. Not because those things don't matter, but because they're already handled, already automated, already part of the rhythm. Your savings sit there, quiet and still. Your debt moves. It breathes. It has a pulse. And somewhere in the back of your mind, you know this. You can feel it. You've been making good money for years now, more than you ever thought you'd make when you were younger. And yet, you still check your balance before buying groceries. You still hesitate before booking a weekend trip. You still feel that tiny knot in your stomach when an unexpected expense comes up. It doesn't make sense. You're doing well. You're responsible. You pay your bills on time. But you don't feel secure. You feel managed, like you're one bad month away from everything unraveling. The bank sent you an email last month. Something about a high-yield savings account for 0.5% AP. They made it sound generous. You didn't open it because you already know what your credit card charges. 22%. And that gap is where your peace of mind goes to die. This isn't about being irresponsible. You pay your bills. You're not living recklessly. You're doing what you're supposed to do. But somewhere along the way, debt became normal, expected, just part of how things work. A car payment isn't a red flag anymore. It's a Tuesday. A credit card balance isn't crisis. It's a buffer. A mortgage isn't debt. It's home ownership. And savings? Savings became the thing you do after everything else. After the payments. After the subscriptions. After life. If there's anything left. Which means almost never. You didn't plan this. Nobody set you down and explained that the financial system was designed this way. That banks make more money when you owe them than when you save with them. That your debt is their profit center. And your savings? That's just a place to park your leftovers while they figure out how to lend it to someone else. At a much higher rate. You've been playing a game where the rules were written by someone else. And they never told you that you were already losing before you even started. Let's go back 6 years. You bought a car. Not a luxury car. Just something reliable. $28,000. Finance over 5 years at 6%. The monthly payment was $540. Manageable. Totally fine. Around the same time, you open a savings account. You told yourself you'd put $200 a month into it. And you did. For a while. You felt good about it. Like you were finally getting ahead. Like this was the year things would start to feel different. Then the subscription you forgot about renewed. $15. Then $30. Then another $12. Then you needed new tires. $600. Then your insurance went up. Then life happened. The savings deposit became $150. Then $100. Then it became whenever there's extra, which meant almost never. But the car payment? That never missed. Not once. Because it wasn't optional. It was automatic. It was first in line. And here's the part that stings. You didn't feel like you were failing. You felt like you were managing. Like this was just how adults do money. Here's what happened behind the scenes. Oh, those 5 years. You paid the bank $32,400 for that $28,000 car. The extra $4,400? That was interest. That was the cost of having it now instead of later. Meanwhile, Your savings account, when you manage to keep $2,000 in it, earn maybe $80 a year before taxes. The bank took $4,400 from you in interest on the loan and gave you $80 on your savings. Same institution, same 5 years, different relationship. This is the part most people don't see. Your debt works for the bank. Your savings work for you. Barely. And it's not just cars. Think about your credit card. Let's say you carry a $5,000 balance. You're paying it down, but it takes time. Life happens. At 22% interest, that's about $1,100 a year just to keep that balance alive. You're not spending $1,100 on anything. You're just renting the debt, paying for the privilege of owing money. The same $5,000 in a high-yield savings account, maybe $225 a year. You're working twice as hard to pay off debt as the bank is working to grow your savings. And that's if you even have $5,000 saved. Most people don't, because the debt came first, and it always does. Here's the thing that really sits with you when you think about it. The bank doesn't need you to be broke. They just need you to be normal, to finance the car, to carry a balance, to take out the mortgage, to use credit when things get tight. They need you to live like everyone else. And in return, they reward you with points. Cashback, a slightly better interest rate if you keep a certain balance. Just enough to make you feel like you're winning. But you're not winning. You're just losing slower. The math doesn't lie. They make more from your debt in 1 year than your savings will earn in 10. And the worst part? You already know this. Deep down, you've always known this. You just didn't have the language for it. So here's the question. What if the problem isn't that you're not saving enough? What if the problem is that your life is structured to feed debt first and savings last? You didn't choose that structure. You're living in it, and it's exhausting. Every automatic payment, every finance purchase, every month where the minimums get paid and the savings get skipped. It's not a failure. It's not a mistake. It's just a design. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Think about how much energy you spend managing debt, checking due dates, making sure the payment clears, watching the balance, refinancing when rates drop. Now think about how much energy you spend growing your savings. Most people spend more time choosing a streaming service than they do thinking about where their savings live, because savings feel optional. Debt feels urgent. But here's what shifts when you start to notice. Debt gets loud because it has to. It demands attention. It has a deadline, a consequence. Savings are quiet, patient. They don't remind you. They don't send alerts. They just sit there waiting for you to remember. And the longer you prioritize the loud thing, the quieter the other thing becomes. Until one day you realize you've been working for years, making decent money, and you still feel behind. Not because you're failing, but because the system rewards the bank's timeline, not yours. And that feeling you had last night, when you closed the app and felt small, that wasn't weakness. That was clarity. You've been working hard for years. And most of that work has been making someone else rich. You don't have to burn it all down. You don't have to pay off every debt tomorrow or live like a monk, but you do have to notice. Notice where your money goes first, not where you wish it went, where it actually goes. Debt? Subscriptions? Convenience? Or you? What if, just once, you treated savings like a bill, not an aspiration, not something you'll do when there's extra? A bill, $50, $100, whatever's real, automated, first, before the noise, not because it's going to make you rich overnight, but because it starts to shift the rhythm. It reminds the system in you that your future has a seat at the table. And here's the other part. Every time you finance something, ask one question. Am I buying this, or am I renting the feeling of having it now? Because that's what debt is. It's not bad. It's not evil, but it's expensive. And the bank is counting on you not doing the math. They're counting on you being busy, tired, normal. They're counting on convenience winning. And most of the time, it does. But not because you're weak, because you're human. And because no one ever told you that the game was rigged from the start. You're going to check your account again tonight. Maybe tomorrow. and the number will be what it is. But now you know what the bank knows, that your debt is their investment, and your savings, that's yours. You don't have to fix everything. You don't have to optimize every dollar, but you do get to decide what gets fed first. The car payment will always be there. The mortgage will always be due. The credit card will keep sending statements. But so will you. You'll still be here, still working, still trying, still hoping that one day it'll feel easier. And the moment you start treating your future like it's as important as your credit score, that's when things start to feel different. Not perfect, not stress-free, just different. A little quieter, a little more yours, that you've spent years building someone else's wealth. Maybe it's time to build yours, not because you have to, but because you deserve to feel secure in the life you've been working so hard to build.